Ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. Please enjoy the show.
It's the corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back without you.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys, Joe, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Tight End on your Monday evening. I'm Marcus Dasher. Right there is our guy, former Chiefs tight end, Jason Dunn. JD, how are you doing, brother?
What's going on, Marcus? Man, I'm doing well, my brother. I'm doing well. You know, I'm coming in. We had a nice little weekend, of course, for the 4th. Had a lot of family that came in, and we enjoyed ourselves and celebrated each other. Had a wonderful time. Just really, man, just kind of, like I said, just kind of getting together, you know, for the 4th, for the holidays. And so for us, man, hey, we had a wonderful time. What about yourself?
It's good, yeah. Me and Laura, my girlfriend, we ended up going to Montrose, Virginia. A bunch of us, of my friends, like 10 of us, rented like a lake house in Montrose, Virginia. It's kind of like right on like the Potomac area. You could swim in this part of the Potomac, or I would say. But yeah, it was one of like the lakes that kind of feeds into the Potomac River. But it was nice. I didn't get into the water. I'm not a big water guy. But I got my tan on. I don't know if you can tell, a little bronze today.
Hey, I see you, man. You're glowing. Look at you, baby. Glowing. That's that glow. Gleam. You're so glow. It's going.
But yeah, it was a good time. We played spike ball. A bunch of we did a beer Olympics. So that was fun. That was fun. It was good times.
Good, man. It's wonderful for us to hear the things that we had that was going well. Everybody like you know, getting your tan, me being with my family. But first, I don't want to, not miss in recognizing the flood victims of this past weekend down in Kerr County. And so, my heart goes out to each and every family that is dealing with this. When Susan was telling me about it, she was just bringing, everything up. I mean, my heart just hurt. It just absolutely hurt for everyone that was involved in this, and the people that lost their lives. And so, for me, I'm a big man for prayers. You know that I'm a man of faith, and so for me, I feel like whatever we can do possibly to get down to help those people out. My thing is, we're going to pray for those people in the area. If we could get there and go and get our hands dirty, let's do those things as well. If you're able to give to the people that need it, please do. But if we could, just for this moment, just kind of take a moment of silence, Marcus, if you will, for the people of Kerr County down there in Texas, for them and their families at this moment. So we'll just get a quick little, moment of silence. Okay. Thank you all for that. Appreciate it. When anytime we're dealing with any type of tragedy, anywhere, this shouldn't just be particular to us here in United States, in America, but we should have a heart and sympathy and empathy for other people all around the planet. If we just adopt that and understand that this is our family, every single one of us are family. We're family members, distant cousins, brothers, however you want to look at it. Okay. That's who we are. And, it's unfortunate because the reality is when we don't have that type of empathy and sympathy for others, people get jaded, people get hurt. But we need to have a heart for people. We need to have a heart for our brothers and sisters that's out there. And so the devastation, we always say, in our faith that, we shoulder each other's burdens. That's what we should do. And so I just wanted to recognize that, Marcus, and everybody that's out here, obviously, for the things that's going out there. So whatever you can do, please do. Like I said, we always keep them, in our hearts, in our thoughts and our prayers fully up until this time. So, Marcus, man, we talk about, man, what a life is, and how important life is to everybody as it should be. And so I said this, and I always say it again. I said, we must do a much better job of loving one another. We have to. So I just wanted to make sure I addressed that. Matter of fact, I seen that one of the cousins, I think of the Hunt family, one of the little cousins was part of the flood.
I saw that. Yeah. Sad. I think 9 years old.
9 years old. 9 years old. Hadn't had a chance to live life. So love people, man. Love them. So
yeah. Regardless if it's in your backyard, in this country or the next country, it's love everybody the same as you would, and give prayers to everybody going through something out there.
That's right. That's right. Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. So what we try to do is we try to bring a little, light, a little bit of joy and happiness to the people out here in Chiefs Kingdom, with our show Chiefs Concerns. We try to touch people in their lives. We care about you all. And so, like I said before, and I always say this to you all, we can't do this thing without you all. We love y'all. We really do. So if any of y'all are hurting and whatnot, feel free to tell us, hey, we got ears to hear, and not only that, but we also have mouths to pray, hearts to feel, to listen for each and every one of you. So, we need to hold on tight, always hold on tight for each other. Like I said before, man, all this, silliness, division, and, doing things to other people, whatever it may be. Like, I don't believe in tearing away, families, just our human family. I don't understand this. And the evilness behind it is sometimes what we try to do is we try to validate and justify, some of our bad actions. And that's the horrible part of it. We need to do a much better job. And sometimes we need to call it out where it is. Bottom line, pure and simple. So.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
So we're going to get into some good stuff tonight, though, Marcus. We're going to talk about some Chiefs football, talking about from Texas, Patrick Mahomes from being down that way for sure. I think this week, we're talking about the QBs, ain't it?
Yes, sir. It's the last position group that we're going to talk about is the QBs. Yep.
Last one? It?
The last one. The last one. Probably the least controversial one of all, because I think everyone knows who QB1 is going to be. So,
do we? I don't know now. It might be true. Wait till training camp.
Hot take. I think the number 15 guy is going to take the job. That's a hot take there, JD.
I know it. Considering everything that's going on out here, listening to all these pundits and people talking football, Patrick Mahomes ain't even a top 10 quarterback anymore. So
no, it's not. According to Big Ben, he's not in his prime anymore either. So
what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna survive, Marcus? How are we gonna do it? How are we gonna do it this year? So,
I'll tell you what, you guys are subscribers. Pretty much slaughtered Big Ben in our comments on that video.
Yeah, he deserved it. He needed a couple uppercuts. He really did. So
for his sake, I hope he doesn't want to look at the comments in the video. Brutal. You guys got him pretty good. So
yeah. Well, shoot. Let me say. Matter of fact, we're talking about the ones out here. What's going on? Let's see who's all out here. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Obviously, we talked about everything. I hope everybody had a great time with your families. Did a little barbecue, queued up a few things, man. A little fireworks here and there. I'm not really into the fireworks anymore as much. Marcus, I go if I see a good show, I'll step out there. But I had a couple of men that I let off in my neighborhood. Ooh, I'm not gonna say that. I didn't know who it was. Like, yeah, it was Jason. So me say what's up to everybody here. Adam Six, what's going down, Adam Six? Haven't seen that name, I don't think. What's going down, Adam Six? Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. If you've been here before, hey, welcome back. Welcome back. The Barbershop, what's going on, my guy? Good to see you as always. G Pick is here in the house. Hippie Cypriot, what's going on, Hippie? Greg Rose, what up, baby? What's going down with you? Andrea Chenault, how you doing, Andrea? Good to see you. Laura Zingser, hello, Laura. Good to see you. Witchy Hall. No more Ben talk. He's done, not done. Yeah, Witchy. That's the last time you're going to hear about Big Ben. You know, he's always trying to come out there. Next Ben Big we'll be talking about is the clock. So we leave it at that. Sash, what's going on, Sasha? How you doing out here? Casey Colossus, good to see you, my guy. Good to see you out here as well. Nana Sherry is here. What's going on, Nana Sherry? Under Brown. Oh, we got the usual suspects. Good to see everybody here. We're going to have a good conversation. I can tell tonight. We got some good people that know their stuff, man. Cole, Keller, what's going on? I live in Kerr, Texas. I live in Kerr County, Texas for about 16 months. Wow. Well, Cole, I know it's dear to your heart, brother. I know it's dear to your heart, man. So, you know, should I see what they could do? You know, let people here in the chat know what they, you know, if anything they could touch or talk to in that area to get, you know, whatever type of support. Let them know, man. Let them know. But good to see you, man. Richard Cooper, what's going down? What's going on? Monday appointment. Yes, it is. We are here and we're ready to go to work. We are ready to go to work. Linda Hunter, how do you see in Linda Hunter? Hello, everyone. Prayers for Texas and the Carolinas. Yes. Yeah, prayers for all of them for sure. Yeah, Carolinas too. Man, they get hit a lot of different areas, man. This rain is something else. It's just, man. So Justin DeWay, what's going on? Good to see you, Justin DeWay. Nathaniel Walker, what's going on, Nathaniel? Good to see you as well, man. So, yeah. Nafis Foster, what up, JD? I can't wait till the season. You and me both, brother. You and me both. So we're going to get into Nafis. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got so obviously with the quarterback position tonight, this is kind of the fourth different backup we've had in the Mahomes era. So tonight we're going to get into a little bit about Gardner Minshew, who he spoke at a press conference a couple weeks ago. So he had a couple quotes we're going to talk about tonight. But before we get to Gardner Minshew, we got to talk about our guy, Patrick Mahomes, the face of the league. As much as people want to write him off, he's still the face of the league and he's still in his prime. But he had an interview with Kay Adams today, and he said some stuff. We're going to get into a little bit about what he said tonight, and then some of the other stuff where he alludes to the weapons that we have. We'll talk about that on Wednesday night.
Okay.
He said some interesting stuff about the weapons we have in the room. But it's kind of stuff we've heard before, but him kind of doubling down on it. Him coming out and saying it's our best group of weapons we've had. He said we had Tyreek, we had Kelsey, but this group's even more special, which is pretty good to hear if you're amongst the guys in the receiver room.
Well, hey, look, man ain't lying. So.
He's not top to bottom. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
But he did talk about, we brought up Big Ben on last week's show. We talked about what he said. And Pat, he's one of those guys, these modern day athletes. These guys are all over Twitter. They're constantly checking that stuff. They may not comment on it. They may these guys are involved, right? They see what's going on social media. So Pat kind of references a lot of talk that's being said out there in this interview with Cams. I only picked a few excerpts to talk about tonight, but here's Pat talking about what he's hearing about the Chiefs, as well as his opinion on the top 100 list that's about to come out from the NFL. How he says he doesn't really care about that. So here's Patrick Mahomes talking about some stuff that's going on in social media.
Just ready to play football again. Whenever you lose, you kind of have this taste in your mouth that you want to go out there and revenge that or whatever you want to say. But at the same time, I feel like I've had to sit back and just listen to people talk. And I'm like, let's just play football and just handle it all out there. And I don't really want to talk about it. I just want to go out and show who we are as a Kansas City Chiefs.
You've been for a bunch, sort of iconic relationship with the top 100 list. How would you describe that relationship this year? It's coming.
I know it's coming. I mean, but I know it's a year-by-year thing, and so there's a lot of great quarterbacks, a lot of great players in this league, and they can rank me wherever they rank me. At the end of the day, all I'm trying to do is win Super Bowls, and I don't care where I am on that list. No offense.
So JD, two really I know it's a K Adams show, very light show, but like him coming out right out of the gate saying, he just wants to come out and kind of settle the score on the field. He's heard a lot of BS. He wants to settle the score on the field. He just wants to get to play football, like as we all want to watch. We all want to see that. And on top of that, he talks about not really giving a crap about these top 100 lists. I just want to win a Super Bowl. I mean, it sounds like this man is, we talk about going to scorched earth this year, but it really does seem like he wants to go out there and kind of shut some people up.
Yeah, I think right now, just for him, like you said, look, people are going to put him wherever they want to put him. But when it all said and done, when the dust settles, he's going to be one coming out on top. And look, we understand that people don't want to give Pat, the nod as being the best quarterback in the league. They want to make it everybody else but him, right? Of course, you start looking at some of the numbers last year. We say Josh Allen, and of course, Lamar had, better years statistically than Pat. But overall, when we sit there and we start looking at the streak of 17 games winning by, one possession, best in the NFL ever, there's a reason for it. Why? Because he's a winner. He knows how to win, him and Andy both. And so when the chips are against you, when you're up against the wall and you need to go down and score, you need to go win the game, you give it a P on 15. I'm not giving it to Big Ben. I'm not giving it to Mar. And look, I love those guys. If they was on my squad, I'll root for those guys too. And look, those are great guys, okay? But Patrick Mahomes is head and shoulders above those guys in that regard, okay? Like I said before, when it comes down to it, you can trust that Patrick Mahomes is going to get the job done, pure and simple. And so I don't make any bones about it. I think everybody recognizes that. You can go in and say talent-wise, all these other different things. I seen somebody made a comment about who's the talented guy, and, some are saying, well, there's a lot of guys more talented than the Pat. And I'm just like, I love to see them. I see a lot of guys out there, right? There's no doubt a lot of talent in the NFL, okay? But there is something else special about Patrick Mahomes, okay? He produces magic. He gets wins when it seems impossible, okay? When you start thinking about, the games down to 13 seconds and all those, like you start looking at his body of work over the years, just being in the league and getting to the AFC Championship game, as long as he's been here, hey, man, come on. Can't take nothing away from that man. You just cannot. So, look, if you want to say he had a down season, fine. You can say that. But put it in context. He was without Rasheed Rice, without Hollywood Brown. Star running back got hurt in Pacheco, right? We had to go get Kareem Hunt out of Cleveland, pluck him out of there. He had a couple of, some chips on his chest. He had to wipe off. We came in and did a great job. Offensive line was a little, kind of discombobulated. And, the guys that came in kind of got hurt. So we went through somewhat of a difficult journey last year. And guess what? We still made it to the Super Bowl. We still did. Who gave us that chance? PM15. PM15. So we need to just go ahead, man, and stop with the BS, with the craziness, man, with the madness is what I call it, and just call it what it is. PM15 is the guy. He's been the guy since he's been in the league, and everybody else is taking a backseat to him, pure and simple. So.
Yeah, these talking heads and these people on these shows, I know they're trying to draw views and clicks. I get it. But, like, at the end of the day, when we talk about, these guys, leading their teams, Patrick Mahomes hasn't gotten anywhere less than the AFC Championship game. That is his floor, and I've seen someone in the comments say it. His floor is the conference championship, which he could call. That's it. At the end of the day, he can't block for himself. You can't be his left tackle. You can only do so much back there, and as long as he's back there, he's giving our team a chance, and he's getting us the AFC Championship game every year into the Super Bowl, if not the AFC Championship game. So, like, the fact that people are writing him off, like, yeah, our team wasn't healthy at all. And no team is healthy, right? But in the fact that by the time we get to that point, we weren't the healthiest team. Yeah, we had Hollywood Brown come back late in the season. Omenu came back late in the season. Pacheco came back. Jalen Watson came back. These guys weren't, they weren't ready to kind of contribute. These guys were just kind of getting in there and getting their bearings when they came back at the end of the season. He put that team – took that team, willed that team to where it got to. And, if you want to say he had a down season, sure, but context matters. And contextually, the line wasn't there. You had a left guard playing left tackle. People just forget all that. They forego all the actual facts behind why it didn't look the same for Kansas City or it didn't look the same for Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't because he did anything wrong. It was just that the team it was kind of patchwork at different spots of the team last year. And it's like, okay, we're blaming everything on him. It goes to his shoulders.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it is. But the thing is, anything they can do to discredit him, they're going to do. And it's fine. Look, we understand. It comes to the territory, right? Look, we got 9 games on national TV next year, okay, or this year coming up this season. And guess what? People are going to tune in for one or two reasons. Either to watch the Chiefs come in and win and watch him dismantle the entire league, or number 2, to watch him fail. That's what it's going to be, okay? And they're going to watch because they love to see him try to take an L. And I'm telling you, everybody's talking about other teams that re-up in the AFC and all over the league and stuff like that. Keep sleeping on them. I'll tell you what, you're gonna mess around and put yourself in a bad position, okay? And bet against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, okay? We got Travis Kelce, same thing last year. First of the season, he wasn't really catching a whole lot of balls. They said he was old. All it was, Taylor Swift is all that, turning him out, and he can't do nothing. And all of a sudden, he started hitting him over the head, right? That's what he started doing. And so now, this year, he's come back with a passion, with some vigor. And he's coming in with a vengeance. And so him and Pat is on the same page. And guess what they're doing? They're galvanizing the troops around them to make sure they understand what the assignment is. Okay? And PM15 is not going to let them forget it. He is not going to let them just sit back and take it easy. It's none of that. Okay? They come out here because they mean business. They mean business. And so you could tell PM15 is like, look, I'm tired of all the talk. Let's just go play ball. How about we do that? You can say whatever you want to say, but when it comes down to it, we get on the field, let the play do the talking. Okay? Let the wins go ahead and rack up, and then let everything play that way. We'll let all that sorted out then, okay, on the football field. Because when it comes down to it, when it comes down to playing ball, when it comes down to winning games, Patrick Mahomes is the best out of everybody, period, point blank and simple, Marcus. I don't know what else to explain it. You can say whatever. You can say all this. He's out of his prime. Big Ben done said that. He's out of his prime. With a dumpster take that he had to say. Come on, Big Ben, stop the madness. Everybody sitting over talking about all PM15. Is he even a top 5 quarterback anymore? Yo, you done lost your mind. And so keep doubting what PM15 is and what he's done, okay? And I guarantee you're going to come up lame. That's what's going to happen, all right? You're going to come out on the losing end. Guess what? You could ask all those quarterbacks that everybody been putting in front of me, Marcus, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, all those guys have been put in front of Patrick Mahomes. Ask them. See what they think about Patrick Mahomes.
It's funny. Both quarterbacks that were in the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, both those guys get shit on for. And it's like, well, I don't understand. Hurts is 2 Super Bowls in a row he's come to. He's played the game of his life, and he still gets people don't talk about him like the same conversations as those other guys you mentioned. And Patrick Mahomes, it's like, oh, now he's not it anymore. Everyone else is caught up to him. It's like, what? I mean, what are we talking about here?
So it was interesting because I seen something. I was telling you the guy that was sitting there saying this, and I was going to ask you because I was going to send it to you. So he had 3 quarterbacks up, right? Okay, this is like a quick little just Jalen Hurts appreciation. I'm going to say this, all right, because I love his style. I love his competitiveness. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. I am. Truly. I really am. I have been since college. And so it was Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, and Jalen Hurts. And the question was start, bench, and cut. Okay? Start, bench, cut. So I'm asking you right now, Marcus, okay? Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, and Jalen Hurts, all right? But you're right. They've been, Pat and Jalen been getting doo-dooed on, forever. Yeah. Ain't like you don't give them no credit. So who's your start, bench, and cut?
I would start Hurts. I would have Baker on the bench, and I would cut Stafford. And this is 2025, so I would do that right now. maybe 10 years ago, probably different. It's probably a different answer to that question. I probably have Stafford there, but I mean, we're talking about right now. I would take Baker as the 2 spot, and Stafford would have to go to the waiver wire.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you.
Oh, you go the same. You go the same 3.
Go the same 3, absolutely. Yeah, and
Okay.
I like Matthew Stafford. I start looking at these stats. I realized he had Megatron and some guys around him. I understand that, right? So a little easy when you got a Megatron to throw the ball to. So when you start looking at the stats, passer rating, I'm actually a little surprised. I'm surprised at Baker, but Baker had to go to somewhere where he's surrounded by a lot of wide receivers. He's had that. He had his first few years. Didn't quite do what he wanted to do in Cleveland. Okay, locked him at his own little house, right?
And you got him a first playoff victory they've had in a very, very long time. So I mean that does bode well for him a little bit.
Golf clap. There you go. Yeah, very well done. Very well done. But and just going back to the show, man. Go back to the show. But Pat, even in the conversation, man, I mean, he's just. I don't know anybody else who would say, "Hey, man, I'd rather take such and such before Pat." If you did, all right, man, that's your prerogative. You can make those Star Kiss. What is that? Hershey Star Kiss.
Chocolate Star Kiss.
Chocolate Star Kiss. Everybody got one. I love it. I'm gonna keep using that sucker every chance I get.
That's a good one. And seeing the interview with Mahomes, I think the thing that stands out to, but I mentioned this in the beginning. Kay Adams, when she's on the show, she talks ball, but it's very light, kind of fun, But like the vibe that he was at like the state. I think he was filming a State Farm commercial there. It was like on the set of a State Farm commercial he was filming.
Oh yeah.
Like the vibe of that's supposed to be light and funny, but like that was a man who's on a mission. Like his answers to those questions, like I don't care about all that. I care about winning Super Bowls. I just want to play football right now. I've heard we hear a lot of stuff. I just want to play football right now, just to prove. I mean, pretty much what's make people eat their words big time when it comes to us when September begins. And it just sounds like he is on a mission, just based on JD. You did a lot of these interviews back in the day, and like when you hear that and see that, like the kind of the vibe he was giving off. What kind of vibe were you getting from that interview from him?
Just the vibe that he's focused. He understands the distraction. He knows these questions are coming. He understands that. And so, like he says, he's reading all the things that's out there. He hears all the chatter from every person that has an opinion about him. But he's laser focused on what he wants to do this season. Like he said, and paraphrasing about when you lose, people think you're down. People come after you, don't think that you're good anymore. Especially how we lost in the Super Bowl. And everybody's thinking, oh, man, these guys were pretenders. No, there's no reason they should have been there, this and that, blah, 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 yada, 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 right? And everybody jumps up here. Where was the other 30 teams at, Marcus? Where were they at? Didn't they all have a chance and opportunity to get there too? I mean, I'm assuming everybody has the same opportunity, right? I get some teams may not be as talented as the Chiefs. I get that part. But everybody put their pads on and came out there to come play. Okay? And Pat pulled some things off last year. Pat did that. Pat did that with the things he was dealing with the offensive line. We had to take our starting left guard and move him out to tackle. Okay? Move him out. We had guys, like you said, on defense. Charles Minhu was out, right? Didn't have Steve. We try to figure guys out in the secondary. Guys that come up. Jalen Watson got hurt. So there were things that happened with our guys defensively and offensively that, any other team would have folded. Every other team probably would have folded. Somebody put that on there. Any other team lose your 2 best players, your top 2 wide receivers. You 5-12. I forgot who said that, but that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people ain't coming out there smoke, baby. A lot of people ain't doing it.
No, and then you also look at the year prior where he went to all these quarterbacks everyone wants to take ahead of Pat. He went to Buffalo, took care of biz. Went to Baltimore in the AFC Championship game, took care of biz. So like, I don't know. I don't know what more he has to do. I think he just has to win every Super Bowl every time he gets to that point. He just has to win one every time, so it just keeps people off him. I don't really get. It's not really realistic. The standards that they're putting on him.
Well, I mean, somebody said, "Oh, it's the end of the dynasty." It's it, Patrick Mahomes, and they're not going. They'll never see another, Super Bowl. Then okay, all right, you keep believing that. That's all you've been watching him do is get to Super Bowls and AFC Championship games. Okay, Why would you make that assessment when now Pat is saying himself that this is the best wide receiver core he's had, and not taking away from Tyreek and all those other guys, right? We're not, disparagingly those guys at all, okay, at all, because all of them were, privy to the success that Patrick had, okay, and they contributed to that, right? So we want to give a nod to all those guys and shout outs to those dudes to catch every single ball from Patrick Mahomes. But make no mistake about it, man. We loaded with speed. We loaded with speed. Got the best tight end in the game. He's still good. He's still chopping jokers up. We got a nice running back room. Okay, Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Mitchell, and then we just got what's the name of two?
Rashard, baby.
Oh, come on, man. Yo, and not to mention one of our problems, Marcus, was the offensive line. It was the protection, right? The guys didn't play well. Okay, and there's guys that's here that played. They're not okay with it. Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Juwan Taylor, okay? Even King Sumo, all those guys, hey, they weren't okay with what they did last year. So now, man, this thing is a reckoning. It is. They're going to right the ship. And so I'm here for all of it, man. I am. I'm here for every single game to watch it all go down. So.
Yeah, week 1 can't come soon enough. Like in Brazil against the Chargers, I think Pat's going to have something to prove. And I think what was that 1 year? I think it was during the COVID year, where we were playing Baltimore. It was a Monday night game or a Sunday night game, and he counted on his fingers what number he was on the top 100 list. I mean, Pat's very petty like that, and I love that he stores all this crap in here. So I'm right. He counted how many. Where I think it's number 7, and he shrugged the shoulders as he ran to the sideline. So like. Keep doing this because you're going to wake up a monster in this guy, and he's already thinking about what he's going to do week 1 to prove all these people wrong.
Yeah. So now I like a little petty Pat. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And all he's doing is just showing like, hey man, y'all doubt me all you want to. Okay, go ahead and doubt me. So when the time comes down to it, who's going to be standing? Yeah, Noah John said, what's up, Noah John Marshall? And I seen Stu came in the house. Noah John, Matt Moore, my favorite Chief backup. Damien here had a pretty good year in 2006, right, JD? Yeah, DU, man, came in. I like Damien. Damien was a good, great guy. He's always a great guy, upbeat, fun, throw the football. Yeah, I like Damien.
And he knows his wine, too. He knows a good bottle of wine, apparently. He's a winery, doesn't he?
Does he? I don't know.
I thought I read that he had a winery up in Washington.
He probably does. I don't know. Next time I see him, I had to ask him that. It's been a few years since I've seen Damon. A couple of years. It's always good to run to get into you guys, man. It really is. So, one of my brothers.
Yes, he has a winery.
Okay.
He founded the Passing Time Winery. The Passing Time Winery, him and Dan Marino own it.
Dan Marino, really?
Dan Marino and Dan Marino own the spot.
Okay. Well, him and Dan were together down there in Miami, so makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. Stanley Mooney in the house came through. What's up, Stanley Mooney? Who else came through, man? I seen somebody. I need to say what's up to him.
G-Pick. What about Thigpen? Of course, Thigpen. We love Thigpen here. Come on now.
Thiggs, man. Come on, man. Thiggs is our guy. Love Thiggs. Deshaun Hammer's in here. What's up, Deshaun? Stu, so Lawrence Zincher, is Minshew ready for us? He fits right in. That joker's ready for anything. Yeah. Minshew looks like you just give him some sunglasses and some flip-flops, and he'll make it anywhere. Okay, he'll be fine. So.
Yeah, I love Minshew's personality is going to be great in Kansas City. I found an interesting thing that no one's really talked about yet, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. But you guys talked about Minshew. Let's get to talking about the people in the quarterback room. So obviously Patrick Mahomes is the top dog there. I don't think we have to worry about him making the squad or being the QB1. Gardner Minshew, QB2 to come in and replace Carson Wentz. And we got Bailey Zappi and Chris Oladokun. And so JD, we look at the QB room. I guess in years past, we had Carson Wentz, and before that, Blaine Gabbert, and then Chad Henne, then Matt Moore for a little bit. So it seems that Gardner Minshew is a veteran quarterback, a veteran starting quarterback in the league. But however, the other guys, Chad Henne and Blaine Gabbert, were more seasoned guys. They've been around longer. So this is probably one of the more of the younger-ish backups that we've had in the Mahomes era.
Yeah. Interesting guy, though. He's an interesting backup. I think he's a very capable guy. I like Gardner Minshew, especially when he has weapons around him. He'll get the ball to the guys he needs to in the hands. He's won some games. But you're right. I like Minshew's style. He'll fit right in where it needs to be. And so I think he brings his personality out. Everybody's going to love it. They are. They're going to love, obviously the hair and the mustache. And that's just who Gardner is, right? So I think with him being Pat's backup, I don't think we have any problem worrying about, who's going to be, if something happens to Pat, something does happen. Gardner Minshew is a capable quarterback to win games for sure.
Yeah, and also too, I think his skill set's very interesting because, obviously we wanted somewhat of that air raid kind of quarterback when Mahomes came out. They kind of, Andy kind of, adapted the air raid style to his style a little bit. And Minshew actually talked about when he came out for the draft that year he did that the Chiefs were one of the teams interested. He said he actually ended up leaving the building thinking that was a team that he was going to end up going to, which is pretty interesting.
Really?
Many years later, they end up signing him. So obviously they have a type there, and the kind of style that we play in Minshew's interview, which we'll play in a second here, he kind of talks about how all these guys come from an air raid background, which I think is really interesting about the entire QB room. So we're kind of going through this kind of air raid model, I would say, JD, that we kind of like that skill set. But yeah, Minshew did talk about a lot of things, which we'll show right now. Here, let me go to this real fast. So this is Gardner Minshew on his fit Kansas City.
Draft, I remember visiting here and how strongly and how good I felt leaving here with Coach Reed and the staff in place and just the offense and everything that they were doing. So I think it's been on my radar for a long time, and it just worked out timing this year. And just couldn't be more grateful again and just excited for the opportunity. It's crazy watching him every day. It's been really cool watching how he prepares, how he takes notes, how he approaches practice, how he has fun, with football. There's so much that he does at the highest, best level that is just really cool to be around and, super grateful. I mean, it's easy to see all the, highlight plays, the, big throws and stuff. And obviously you see that every day on the practice field. It's really cool. But seeing how he prepares, I think that's one of the things that I really wanted to come here and see is how does he prepare? Not only, in the building, how does he get his body right? How does he train? There's I think he does everything at the elite, highest level. And there's just so much to take from that. I think there's just so much to learn. I mean, obviously they do things the right way here, and that's what you just want to be a part of that. You want to hope that you can take things from that, soak it up. But honestly, I'm not looking past anything but this year, trying to help in any way I can. I know that, you have a good season, a part of something special. There's things that stick with you from that serve you well. All four of the quarterbacks in the room have air raid experience. So it's funny, we'll all kind of, this is just, Ace 6 or Ace 95, old air raid terms. So it's cool to we all have that background and see it a little bit through that lens. And it's cool to see. I think everybody in the room has been influenced a lot in that way and how we see the game, space, numbers, leverage, that kind of simple style of ball. I think Pat's taken that to the highest and just most successful level, pretty much.
So JD, I kind of going back to the whole veteran thing. Before we had older guys who could kind of I guess mentor Pat in a way, where it seems like now it's kind of a different shift where guys like Minshew is coming into the Chiefs building to kind of see what he can learn from Patrick Mahomes. It's kind of interesting. When I was going through his presser, I was like, wow, it's interesting. It's kind of a 360 to what it used to be when we used to bring in vets. Now we have guys who, talented guys. I think Mitchell's a talented quarterback. He's shown that, but he's coming in to try to help if he can, where he can help, but also he's trying to learn what he can from Pat. So when he does go after this 1-year deal, he can go elsewhere and try to take what he's learned from Pat and try to win a starting job somewhere. And I think that's very interesting that we kind of have gone that way with our backup quarterback.
Yeah, well, I say this, Marcus. I would even say the vets that was in the room with Pat was still trying to figure him out. I think they also were trying to learn from Pat as well. And a lot of it is when you analyze your peers, okay, and you watch a guy's greatness, something that has never been done before, right? And these guys, the quarterback's been here, who's watched this young guy come in and all he's done is win games. They wanted to know what his, what is his regimen? What is he doing? How does he prepare himself? Like Gunnar says, like, is this just all hype? Is it just talent alone? Or is it the hard work that's put into it as well? And so I think what he's done is he's proven himself to, the older quarterbacks and somebody like Gardner Minshew who's coming in. And it is like, yeah, he's the real deal. He takes everything at elite level. And he does everything to keep being great. And sometimes, man, those things like that he's displaying is just is in you, and you develop it. And so that drive that he has, it's almost like it's an obsession. It's an obsession. And that's what guys understand when you start seeing a guy who wants to be great, who doesn't want to fail, who don't want to let his teams down, but also too loves what he's doing. He loves the preparation. He loves taking the notes. He loves the little thing. He loves talking about the leverage. He said Pat's taking it to a whole different level. And so what Gardner's doing is like, man, I see, what Pat is seeing. He's opened up his whole eyes into maybe some of the things that he hasn't quite seen on his journey. And he's been to places to see that, obviously Jacksonville and Indianapolis and the Raiders, these guys hadn't really been winning. And he knows. He's like, man, look, they do it right here. Okay. The way they not just prepare, but also the coaches being on the same page as far as like trying to get the guys the information they need to do to succeed. So I thought that was very interesting, him, kind of breaking everything down, because what he's doing is he's taking a deep dive and analyzing everything on far as how this team does it as far as winning. And it's a culture. It really is. It's a mindset. It's preparation. All those things matter to get you to where you need to be. And so Patrick Mahomes is just another thing, the cherry on top, that keeps this engine going. And so I think, like you said, man, it's a sight to see. Carson Wentz said the same thing last year, right? So, what it's done too, Marcus? I guarantee it's driving him to become better. I mean, when you're around greatness, that's what you want to do, right? You'll become great too.
And I'll say this. I mean, Minshew, obviously he's not the talent Patrick Mahomes is, but if you watch some of his games when he was in Jacksonville, even when he was in Indianapolis, he still, he does some stuff that you don't see a lot of quarterbacks do. He takes chances. Obviously not as skilled as Patrick Mahomes, but he does do some things like, man, like, okay, all right, Minshew, all right. And I remember that Jacksonville year, the Minshew mania stuff. He was doing some things like, whoa, okay, he's doing some. He's got a little Mahomes in him kind of stuff. But like I remember people would say stuff like that. But yeah, he took chances. I mean, it's definitely a fun skill set for Andy to have as a backup to Patrick Mahomes. For the Week 18 games, for God forbid anything ever happens to Patrick Mahomes, you have a guy who is a talented enough quarterback.
Yeah, and him understanding the standard. That maybe what he'll do now in watching Pat, maybe some of the things that he's in his preparation, he may not be willing to take those chances. He might, okay, I see the mindset on some of the things that we need to do differently. Okay, for him, look, he's a 6th round pick. When he was down in Jacksonville, he's like, screw it, I ain't got really nothing to lose. I got to go out there and play balls out and just, I'm trying to get my name out there, and he did. And so he did a lot of heroics back there at quarterback. To try to, obviously keep the starting position. And so he was successful. That's why he's able to go to different teams, because people was wondering, okay, we're going to miss you. Got a little bit of that gunslinger in it, right? He's got a little bit of that maverick somewhat, right? To do some things a little bit different. So he's coming into the ultimate maverick is what he's done, okay? He's watching Tom Cruise, man, and Top Gun get at it, all right? Without all the demerits and motions. So, wow, this is good. This is good. So, I'm glad Gardner Minshew was here. I really am. So
he also said in the interview, because I think his first game action in the NFL was against the Chiefs. And they said, "Did you guys talk to Pat after the game?" He goes, "Yeah, I talked to him. He saw me outside. I played well, and I was like, oh, like Patrick Mahomes talked to me." That was funny.
Yeah.
But the air raid aspect is an interesting thing that he made mention that all quarterbacks in the room have air raid backgrounds. They're all making comments to each other, like the different vocabulary and the terminology they have. And I think it's very interesting. Where like that's because there was a long time there, JD, where teams were going ahead and skipping the air raid quarterbacks. They didn't want those type of quarterbacks in the room with them. If there was taking a chance on them. I remember Case Keenum broke all the records from an air raid offense in Houston, and he may have been undrafted, like a 7th round pick, but teams were scared away from that. And now we're talking where like the entire quarterback room, Andy's quarterback room, are all air raid quarterbacks. What does that mean to you that we're all kind of going for that same, that we're recruiting and drafting and signing guys who are all that same, come from that same cloth?
The system in itself, a lot of coaches didn't think that it translated well into the NFL, because you got a lot of jargon that goes into now, like these systems, obviously from some coaches. And so when you have to learn all the different places where everybody goes, can become a little bit difficult, a little wordy to some quarterbacks. But for an air raid guy, he's sitting over saying, like he said, H9, or this is like, simple, like things what everybody does. Okay. And it's like concepts that you run as well. So a lot of the RPO goes into that. It kind of marries those things and those styles. But what Andy likes about it is because air raid offenses get the balls out of hand fast. That's what he does. That's why we are one of the teams that we don't push the ball down the field as much. We look for the kind of short intermediate passes that is really kind of devastating to teams. They just had to make sure they get the ball out to the right person and let them go. And the wide receivers, the tight ends, let them go make their money after getting the ball in the hand. And so if you understand that, and Andy says, like, yeah, I like that. I like guys that understand, get the ball out of your hands, what you're looking at defensively, and exploit it. Okay. And so air raid offense, man, they're gonna pressure you offensively. They're gonna get guys down the field. They're gonna open it up and they're gonna throw the football. And so that's what the Chiefs do. That's what Andy likes. He loves those guys. But like I said before, what Andy does is he mixes in a lot of different offenses, and obviously his time, kind of up in Philly to where he is now. He had Green Bay with Mitch Holmgren and all those guys. That tree goes from Bill Walsh to like I said, Holmgren. There's a lot of guys that's locked onto that tree. Andy has had a little different vision on what he wants to do, but he understands and appreciates those guys that's in the air raid offense. So,
yeah, it's become like an air raid fusion offense, right? Where you're gonna mix a little bit of everything, but with air raid concepts, and also too, like just having all those guys in that room with each other, especially the younger guys like Aladaquan, Billy Zappi. You have all guys who speak that language, right? It's like they all of them speak that language, right? It's like a thing that they can all speak to each other. And I think that's kind of cool, where they can all say, "Yo, it's just like blah blah blah," and then they'll say that, "Oh, gotcha," and so I do love that from a coaching and teaching standpoint as well for all those quarterbacks.
Yeah, because it's easy to relate to. Like, oh, okay, I got it. Oh, I got you. Okay, what is 322? All it is West Coast wide stick, wide stick or flat, right? Oh, what is all go special? It's just $9.99, and you could call it all these different things, Why 2 banana? What is that? It's like, shoot, it's $2.78, F flat. So it's all related. So, and that's the thing about it. Guys, like you said, it's a fusion. You could change things up the way you do it and when you call particular plays. I think Andy, without a doubt, is a genius at what he does. All we need Andy to do now is run the football a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Okay, because we got the weapons to throw the ball down the field, and we need to exploit that too. So, and we're gonna see a whole lot of that. Believe me, we're gonna see a whole lot of that, and that's what Pat talked about. Pat said that. So, y'all get ready, get your popcorn.
Run the football. I don't know, Mike Leach. Quick screens and quick outs where they was running the football with the Mike Leach air raid, JD, and that's why it's a fusion.
Yeah. Oh, I confess, I just Googled air raid NFL term. Yeah, no, it's yeah, there's a lot of them out there, Nana. There are. It's good to look it up so you can see for sure. Different concepts what people have as far as what they do. Yeah, I know a lot of different guys in the air raid offense. So very effective. Very effective.
Yeah, and the fact it's made its way to the NFL, which a lot of football truthers back in the day never thought it was going to be a thing, JD.
Yeah, well, you know what it is? It's always that question of when the defense coordinators catch up to it. And I tell you what, they absolutely come in and say, yeah, we got this now. We just wanted to see a little bit of it. I would say this about Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly came up into Philadelphia. I'm like, look, you watch and see. You watch how this thing's going to go. Everybody keep talking about what Chip Kelly did to Oregon and all these different things, throwing the ball around and getting up the field. When the defense coordinators get that film, they check him out, it's going to change things. And guess what? That sucker's out of here. They had to chop him. Chip had to go.
Like, it will be interesting to see how because he went to Ohio State and changed a little bit, but like it'll be interesting to see how his offense has evolved from when he was with Philadelphia. That one year, that first year, they made the playoffs. It was that the following years where it kind of collapsed. They went to San Francisco, collapsed again. It just wasn't the same anymore. So I'm curious to see how he's evolved. Going to UCLA, going to Ohio State. I'm curious to see how that offense has evolved when he goes to the Raiders this year. Will he have the personnel for it? I don't
know. Humility. That's what it was. That's exactly it. Sucker came in, sucking on a toothpick, thought he was going to be the big dog when he walked into the league.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what, and I guarantee that was his challenge. Like, you know what? It don't matter what I did in college. I could come in the NFL and do the exact same thing. Yeah, you had the numbers first time, and then when they got a hold of it and start seeing, they like, oh yeah, we got something for him. And take that bull jive and that stuff back down to where he was. So,
did you meet Chip Kelly? Did you at any kind of alumni game during his time there in Philadelphia? Did you ever meet him?
I was up there, but I never got to meet him. So I went to an alumni game up there for sure, but I didn't get to meet Chip.
Yeah.
You know what? And I tell you, Marcus, but it's when you hear from players, and players talk about coaches, the attitude and who they are and how they treat guys, it speaks volumes to me. Like Noah John Marshall was sitting there saying Todd Haley. Yeah, it speaks volumes about who a guy is and how he treats players. And so I'm like, man, you know what? Hey, we'll see what's going to happen with it. Some guys, they don't go with him. It does not fly. It does not fly. So
yeah, but like you said, maybe some humility from his Eagles days, the Niners days, and having to go to UCLA and then taking an OC job with Ohio State. Maybe he's learned a thing or two, and it's been a while, right, since his initial head coaching gig in the NFL.
You had to humble pie, baby. You had to go back to old drawing board. He just like, oh man, this ain't gonna work. So they was killing this, right? So go learn a little bit.
Yeah, I've read and heard that he's a very interesting personality. Chip Kelly is. He's an acquirer taste, is what I've heard. But I mean, a lot of these like offensive geniuses are like that. When you say JD, a lot of these offensive minds are kind of like, they're I don't know what's a good word for, but acquire taste in a way, right? Like they're very different. They can be very different.
They can be, but nothing stopping you from being a good person.
True.
Nothing stopping you from doing that. And sometimes if you are wearing cologne as old cologne, people smell it. They know who you are. When you come in the room, they know who you are. Right. So, hey man, it don't cost you nothing to be okay. I'm not saying you shouldn't have the standard, but one thing I learned, and I've watched it over the years as watching coaches and me becoming a coach myself, that you could get your opponent cross and get guys to play for you without yelling and screaming and demeaning them to try to do that. Okay. Dudes that do things like that is just on a power trip. That's what that is. So to me, it don't gel right. You don't gel well when you see guys like that who's just constantly trying to pummel guys and what's it? Like, bring your little fat tail out here and try to run these routes. You keep writing stuff up on the board and stuff ain't working. You ain't looking at who's over here, defending this, right? You always think you're going to write something up there. So that's the thing, man. He just, hey, it took long. Yeah. Yeah. And everything on the board ain't just going to work, man. You got to have the pieces too. And you got to be able to adjust. And some of these guys are just so arrogant and so narcissistic that they're not going to do it. They're not. So,
yeah.
Just a cool water cologne. The cool water, boy, you can smell them jokers coming with that cool water. You're like, uh-oh, this sucker right here going to be oh, man, you already know. So.
Jay, we had a question here. So obviously we know Pat and Minshew kind of have the locked 1-2 spots. So the question being, do they keep 3 quarterbacks? And if they do, who would be the third quarterback you think between Bailey Zappi? For Bailey Zappi, former Western Kentucky quarterback, starter for the took Mac Jones' job in New England, came to us last year, was on our practice squad for a little bit, then gets claimed by Cleveland. Season's over. The Chiefs bring him on to a futures contract, and now he's vying for a spot on the team right now. And Chris Lataquan's been on the team. He's been a kind of a preseason, kind of a Hall of Famer, I would say, over the last few years in Kansas City. It's been fun to watch. Lataquan has been. But do you think they keep 3 quarterbacks? And how do you see the third kind of guy going between Zappi and Lataquan?
Yes, they will keep 3 quarterbacks without a question. And it's really going to boil down to the performance. Chris has been around longer than, obviously Bailey in this whole deal. And so they understands the ins and outs of what they want. But Bailey might be a good change of pace. He's a talented quarterback, man. I thought he was very impressive when he came in. I was actually rooting for this guy. I'm like, this Bailey's Zappi guy is pretty good. I was kind of watching him. So, hey, man, it's going to boil down to that. What you're going to do with the reps that you get and servicing guys. And if you could pick these things up and do everything they ask you to do, that's what it's gonna come down to. So those two, look, we got a very talented quarterback room. We do. So
yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's very talented. QB University.
Hey, man, hey, they in school right now. I'm watching PM15. You best believe it, man. Class is in session. Del Monte Green Beans. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So about time. What's going on, man? You right in.
And Zappi, he was pretty dang good at Western Kentucky. I think he broke a lot of the records at that school.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Yeah. Talented guy. Talented guy, man. Athletic. He could do it.
Yeah. But you definitely think they keep 3 on board?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for me, I would say they do keep Zappi over Lataquan. I know Lataquan knows the system; he's been here forever. But Zappi has actually had some starting experience, and I think they want to go with that. God forbid anything happens to Pat or Minshew. You have the third quarterback who has had experience starting in the league as well. So you have that another guy who can do that.
Yeah, you can't blow the whistle, blow the whistle. No, you can't. I'm not saying Chris is, man. I like. I look. How you pronounce it?
I can't. I think I'm butchering it, but a Lataquan. A lot of
I always call him Ella Duque.
Ella Duque.
Very majestic name right there. Duque.
So the one thing I wanted to point out here, JD, and Pepe Trace, we'll get to your question, buddy. But I want to point out this. So we talked about, we had, Chad Henne, we had Blaine Gabbert, and then we signed Gardner Minshew. And the one thing in commonality is these are all former Jacksonville Jaguar quarterbacks. And it's like, whoa. My connection here is Chad Henne, 2-time Super Bowl champ. Blaine Gabbert, a 1-time Super Bowl champ with Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have Gardner Minshew. And the connection here is every time we have a Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback as a backup, rings come.
No.
Super Bowls come. So Gardner Minshew bringing back that great Jacksonville Jaguar juju that we have that we love here in Kansas City. But yeah, I thought it was funny that it's another quarterback that we brought in outside of Wentz and Matt Moore, but mainly we've had Jacksonville Jaguar quarterbacks during our Super Bowl winning seasons, and now we have another one there. So I thought that was interesting. We go right back to the well, the Jacksonville Jaguar well, JD, for backup quarterbacks.
Hey man, let's keep this thing going then. If that looks like it's, in the cards on that, let's keep this thing going. So I think it works in our favor. So good. So all them jokers came from a bad organization and came to a winning organization. So, those guys are very excited to be here. Somebody else said that. Witchy Hall, thank you. Ola Dokin. Okay. Okay, Ola Dokin.
Ola Dokin. Yeah.
Ola Duque. That's why I like Ola Duque. Good, so I appreciate it, Witchy. Thank you. I Dukin. G-Pigs.
So we got a question from Pepe Trace. Pepe Trace has some of the best questions.
Pepe. What's up, Pepe? Good to see you. Traders.
Hey, Jason, is it hard to be loyal to management when they can cut you at any time?
It's hard to be loyal to management when they can cut you anytime. It's probably in your best interest to be loyal to them. When you work in any type of job, you got to come in with some type of responsibility and loyalty, especially to what they're asking you to do. Because they do have your future in their hands, and so I don't think it's hard. No, you're doing your job, you're performing. Excuse me, and you just, like I said, you just making sure you're trying to stay employed. So, one thing you can't do is you can't be behind everybody's back like, oh man, I don't like these dudes. Just suck it out. Can you come in with your playbook? Yeah, we heard you. All right. Guess what? You got the door. So.
Yeah, I guess it's the same kind of thing, right? With any job, any relationship you have. You're not gonna be loyal to a girl because she can break up with me at any time. So it's like it's one of those things. You have to show the commitment, so they can show the commitment back to you. And and contracts come, you might get laid off, you might get waived and not resigned, but that's going to come with any job or anything. So
you don't want to burn bridges either.
Exactly.
You might return place back at that. So yeah, there you go, Toronto. Hey, I also bring you back for sure. That's another. Hey, that's when you don't want to burn no bridges, because the thing is, news travels fast in the NFL. You're like, oh man, you don't want this dude. This dude right here is not. You don't need him. Come out. And stuff. Yeah.
Also, too, one thing that always stands out to me, and I'm sure you guys who watch the show, is like whenever we have a guest come on, if JD, may know the dad of a coach that coaches him. It's a very small world, the NFL world. It's a very small community. So it's like, you may think word's not going to travel, but people know people. People know people know it'll get back to others fast. And that's one thing I've noticed with this show. It's like, you may not play with some of the guys who've come on, but like, mutual people and they know each other. And it's like, okay, all right. Yeah. The word can travel fast in that way.
Yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact. Justin Blackwell said, first signs of a shady job here, sign to the NDA. Yeah, if they had you sign the NDA, then it's some shady something going on. Like, why would you sign NDAs? We ain't doing anything illegally, are we? Is there something that we should be telling? Like you said, I don't know if I want to work there. But yeah, because it is a tight-knit community, word gets out. Word gets out on guys, Marcus. It really does. And the thing is, you can't fault them for that. They're trying to protect the brand, which is the NFL. And so make no mistake about it. Anytime you're somewhere, it don't matter what team, regardless of who it is that's there, you got to do your job. That's what you got to do. Now, obviously, if they're asking you to do something that, is against your moral code or something like that, then you got to say, hey, man, look, I'm not okay with that. And some coaches like, cool. We get it. And some might not, they might cut you on it. They just don't like, hey, man, this dude right here is a stand-up guy. We love that. All we ask you to do is coach the guys to the best of your ability. That's what we want to get out of them. And so it's good.
Yeah, it's a good point. Terry Young brings up McCole Hardman came back, got a ring. You know, a lot of the guys we've had, you know, Jody Fortson's come back a few times. McCole Hardman, Kareem Hunt, Mike Edwards. I mean, we just signed this year. So it's like you have good relationships with guys. They're going to want to bring you back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So.
All right, we got another question from Pepe Trade. He's reeling them in tonight. Hey, Jason, what was the most difficult part of learning the playbook for you?
The most difficult part of learning the playbook. I think it was really like the West Coast offense. Like you got to know all the terminology. That was probably the most difficult, I say. I didn't really have an issue with it. But having to get it down, you definitely got to study. There's nights you got to get home and like, man, I got to go over this over and over again, make sure I have it. I was getting, I kind of give you, I'll tell y'all this, okay? Because I had to sign on NDA. But, you know, when Gruden gave me that shout out, you know, on the, you know, with the whole show that he did, you know, I had a lot of people, yo, JD, you know, he said he named this, blah, 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 such and such. I said, shoot, Gruden should have gave me a shout out. All that yelling he was doing at me, you know, all the yelling he did to me all those years back then. So, you know, you don't want to get yelled at by coaches and, you know, getting, you know, ragged out in front of everybody because they'll do that. Gruden's one of those that he'll call you out in front of everybody, you know, and a lot of coaches do those things. But you know, that's embarrassing. But also, too, if you don't grasp the playbook, you won't be alone. You won't be around for long. That's a fact. I've seen several guys that had unbelievable talent, but had a problem grasping the playbook. Whatever it was, they just didn't get it. And coaches don't have times for guys to develop those things. They don't. You know, they just don't have the patience for certain guys. They got to move on. And so for them, if a guy doesn't get all those things down, you're putting your team and everything else in jeopardy. Or they're sitting there saying, you're not taking your job seriously. You're not doing it. So, yeah, you don't want to be that guy. It's like learning a foreign language. Oh, for sure. It's totally different. You know, I came from a primarily running offense down at EKU, you know, obviously wordy, but when you get to the NFL, man, you learn everything, coverages, all, you know, like all of it. The film study, man, is just crazy because you got to do a lot of it on your own. You're a professional. You know, college, you know, they tell you where to be and all that, like NFL does too. But when you're home, you better throw in a tape or a CD and all that. You better start watching some film and get everything down, okay? Because that guy across from you is trying to kill you. He's trying to take your throat out. And so there's other people waiting there to do your job too. So if you're not doing your job, you get something wrong, there's a guy like, hey, coach, I got it. I'll run in. Yeah, you come on in. And they'll tell the guy, if you ain't getting it right, coach, I don't want to see him in there no more. Do not put him in. Why, coach? Because he don't know what he's doing. And he's slowing us down. I don't want to see him. It's like, wow. You're like, that guy ain't going to last that long.
Yeah. Well, it's like the foreign language thing. It's like how we talked about the air raid quarterbacks all speaking the same kind of language. I mean, if you didn't play an air raid, you probably might not know what the heck they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. But you hear the wide receivers and guys come in talking about, hey, man, this is a little bit different. There's a lot of shifts and motions and things that you got to memorize. You got to learn because all the guys are interchangeable. So then now you got to learn a different part of, you know, indicators and stuff, play calling, what you're doing, you know, responsibility. So, yeah.
Yeah, a few questions here. Justin Blackwell, JD, what do you miss most about the game?
What do I miss most about the game? That's a great question. I think it's just the Sundays or, you know, game time. Game time, nothing like it. You know, running out on the field, you know, when you get out there and the stadium's just going crazy. Nothing like that at all. And, of course, you know, your boys hanging out with them, man. I mean, it's just, you know, you got this brotherhood that you all just kind of, you experience all together. And there's a lot of different things out there. You're just in a different world in the NFL locker room. So That's what I miss.
G-Pick says hitting someone in the mouth.
Oh, well, that too. That too. Yeah, you just take this with you. Yeah, you take that with you. How about that? You're out here in real life, you see it something. Yeah, man, you just like want to rear back, like, yeah. God bless you. You know, got away with one. Yeah.
Have a good day.
Huh?
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Yeah, have a good day. You get out there like that, you punch in your hand, like, oh, right.
Yeah, bang the dashboard in the car.
You this close. You are this close.
Bradley Sexton asks, Jason Dunn, who is the greatest Chiefs of all time, past and present?
Who is the greatest Chiefs of all time, past and present? It's a number of guys. I think, man, when you talk about, I mean, Lenny, DT, of course, you know. I mean, Buck. I mean, shoot. Willie Lanier. I mean, you name it, man. I mean, TG. I mean, Priest. Oh man, I can't stop. There's several guys. I would be a disservice not to name somebody. Ring of Honor, seeing those guys out there, you know who those guys are for sure. So all those guys deserve the recognition that they've gotten. Can't take nothing away from them at all. So
just in the way after preseason and you get cut, where do you guys go or do? Is it the end for most players?
No, you're hoping you're gonna get another phone call. So you go back to working out and you be ready by the phone. Because anytime, man, they'll call you and be like, hey man, we need you here. And you gotta go. So unless the guy's just like, nah, man, I'm not gonna do this no more. And he knows he's gonna go ahead and just, close it up. But you diligently working to get another job. So it ain't the end. I know several guys that are still trying to get in and do things. It's a dream, man. This is a dream they've had their entire life. So, you just got to understand the gravity of the situation. A little tough for some guys, most guys actually.
Yeah. It's always toughest too when some of the guys, get cut and like they got to go with the CFL, and it's not the end of professional football. I mean, CFL is still fun to do. You're still getting paid for playing the game you love, but it's also ultimately not where you want to be. But, it still gives you another chance to play, whether it's CFL and now we have the UFL. So that gives another opportunity for guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Linda Hunter, I'm going to answer this. Jason, did you ever have any issues in Philly with the fans? Any issues? Now, you hear the boos and stuff. You would hear that. You just know it's just that's what they do. It's the part of the ambiance that's there, right? Boo! Oh, you suck and all that. But you get off the field, they're some of the most loyal fans that love you. They are, and so I've always appreciated Philly and the fans up there. I really have. I ain't really had any problems or issues with somebody coming to me any type of sideways. You know what I'm saying, Marcus? Never. Like I said, man, they gonna love you. They gonna love you. But when you get out in the field, boy, you get on their nerves. They gonna let you have it. They gonna let you have it. Bet not talk about none of those. If you play for the Eagles, you better not say nothing about them. Okay, because the fans will straighten you out. So,
yeah, they just want to know, as a Sixers fan, they just want to know that you're willing, you're doing everything you can to help the team win. And I would say this. It's really the Philadelphia media that gets that's way worse than the fans there, and that's the way worse.
Yeah, I think they're a mouthpiece of the fans, and put it that way. Because the fans they don't care, boy. They run you to death. They ran Andy up out here. Oh, it was killing Andy. Andy not making it, and Donovan McNabb and T.O. and all these things, and oh man, So yeah, they give you the business. They don't care who you are. They don't care if you're a star or whatever. But there's only a far few between guys that don't really get, that negative stuff in the media. AI being one of them, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. Dawkins, baby boy, near and dear, obviously, to the fans. Try to think of different
But Dawkins wasn't. I mean, Iverson had his beef with the media and stuff, but did Dawkins? Dawkins wasn't. Did he ever get into?
Oh, Brian Dawkins.
Yeah, Brian Dawkins. He never got any like. Yeah, because he. I mean, he gave his heart for the
Heart, man, and soul, man. It was that, you know, he's all heart, passion into those things. So, man, he love a guy like that. That's why I love Baby Boy, man, on the team. Shoot, good people all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Shoot,
Wolverine, man.
Mm-hmm. But hard to find a guy like that just in character and in himself, man. He's just a good man. He's a good man. So.
Yeah. And Iverson was another warrior, but for other off the court stuff, he had spats with the media and whatnot.
Just ones had that couldn't help but try to say something about Iverson, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, but the fans loved Iverson. That was one where the fans always. I mean, let's say it's similar to what's going on now, but Joel Embiid. Media is riding him for missing games and not saying, not playing through injuries and whatnot. And you have most of the fan base who's backing him because they see him play through some severe injuries, play on a meniscus, play on a broken face. But then at the same point, you have other fans who want him, like the Sixers fans, get him out of here. This guy's a bum. The guy's getting paid too much money. Get out of here. You have those type of fans too. But every fan base has that. We've seen them in our own fan base.
Gary Holland said, JD, how do you compare Eagles fans to KC Chiefs fans? When I played, man, I think Eagles fans, they do have that, like I said, they'll boo you. They will boo you. I didn't feel any of that in Kansas City. I felt nothing but love on the team. It was always, come on, guys, let's go, let's get it. It was kind of one of those, that got your back always. Not saying the Philly fans didn't, but they'll tell you suck. You suck, you're a terrible guy, you're a bum. What are you doing out here, man? Why do you even got you on the team? That's Philly fans, right? But like I said, but they will love you, okay? And Kansas City fans, I think just good people. I think it's just one of those, Midwestern type of cities, that are good folk. Good home folk, man. Love
it was shortly after probably a couple years after you retired, where the fans kind of got crap from our right tackle at the time, Eric Winston. It was the last year before Andy Reid took over. It was Romeo's year, where Matt Castle got nailed and he got concussion and he was about to get taken to the sideline. Fans erupted and were celebrating him getting hurt. And Eric Winston, after the game, flipped out about that, and then Brady Quinn came in. And
I remember that.
Yeah,
I do remember that. Yeah, and for a guy, it's on the field to see that anybody celebrates somebody, getting hurt. It's like, hey man, you're not gonna do that. Then we're gonna have an issue and a problem. I would too. I mean, shoot, these guys out there, man, it could have broke his neck.
For sure.
I don't think out there, man. I mean, it's just, and it's just, guys are giving it they all, and guys are giving it they all. So, it's one of those things.
Fans just want to see a change of quarterback, but in that fashion, not the best way. No.
Yeah, not that way. Yo, the Philly fans threw snowballs at Santa. Okay, they had a jail at the stadium. Okay, all right. Like Stu's bringing up because Stu's from up that way. Stu's from Jersey, Philly fan. Yeah, but those are violent. They will fight. Yes, they will.
There was a couple years ago, a 76ers player was a Washington Commanders fan, showed up to a tailgate wearing Redskins stuff, ended up getting into a fight with the Philadelphia Eagles fans at the tailgate. And that was a 76ers player.
What?
Yeah. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. Mike Scott was wearing Redskins stuff at Eagles tailgate. He was the current, I think he was like our seventh man, and he comes up to a tailgate wearing Eagles, Redskins stuff at the time, and then he ends up getting into a fight with people at the tailgate. It was hilarious. Sixers fans loved it because they respected that he had true fight in them. Question from No John Marshall. JD, what was your pre and post game meal?
Ooh. So always my go-to was probably oatmeal, no doubt. Oatmeal, blueberries. I try to do some type of maybe some egg whites, like an omelet. And occasionally I might do like a French toast, post-game meal. I mean, we did a little bit of everything, man. After we win, we go to Capitol Grill, and we used to, what's that? Buca de Pepo? Is that right?
Buca di Beppo, the Italian restaurant?
Yeah, we would go there, man. We'd take our families there. Me and Tony would take our families there and go eat. Man.
Big plates there. Big plates.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you feed families. And so we'll do that. Just, I mean, good stuff, some good food. Sit back, man, maybe have us a wine or, a brewski or something, and, celebrate the win.
What about after a loss? What's the appetite like? And what do you?
Food just didn't taste that good, but you would eat, and just, it was just.
Would it be going out, or would you guys just go? Nah, I'm just gonna go home and figure it out, kind of thing.
Oh, we go out still. We go out. Have a brew, man. Crack a beer open, and sit back and reflect on why we lost, what happened. Talk about the game, and then how you couldn't believe it, how you lost, and all those things, just like that. Yeah, man, no, we ain't know. The Monterey Bees, look, we done fought hard. We're not going to wall at home. And the thing is, the ones that understand the loss, it's going to be your boys more so than maybe your family. Your family give you some solace, obviously, and, the kids can get you and calm you down and all those different things to love on you. But your boys that you played with, man, that you fought side by side with, you just want to kind of talk about it a little bit, right? It's that bonding, getting it back. And then also, too, you're getting yourself prepared for the very next week. Like, okay, we got some work we need to do. So, get there, man, and you got to re-up, straighten up, man, focus. That's what you got to do. Del Monte Green Beans. Then we take our butts home.
All right, so we have two more questions. Taking two more questions here from Bradley Sexton and Gary Holland.
Okay.
And I think, Bradley Sexton. Okay, we all know Arrowhead Stadium is the loudest ever from a fan viewpoint and from player standpoint, much more louder on the field, and so eardrums do break. So I guess did you ever hear anybody ever have their eardrums break from a player standpoint, JD?
No, nothing like that, man. But it is loud up there on the field. It is. That's why you got to lock in so much. Like, man, I can remember games that it was almost you just could not hear. And I can tell you the stadiums, actually, besides, obviously, Arrowhead. One was, without a doubt, up there in Seattle. Another one's down in the Dome in New Orleans. Indianapolis, yeah, a little bit. I'm trying to think. Oh, Green Bay. It's another one as well. Those are always hard to hear. And, it used to be the Broncos for a while back, though. But theirs is more about the altitude. So,
yeah. All right, then final question. Gary Holland. Question, JD, who's the best quarterback you seen when you played?
Who's the best QB you seen when you played? That's any team. That's not me playing with.
I guess playing with or guys you watch on the sideline. Like, how some players, when they show players watching Mahomes on the sideline, they're like, oh, they do shock faces and whatnot.
Man, I had to say, I would say two guys that sent us home, hated to see in the fourth quarter, was Peyton Manning, number one. Probably number two, Brett Favre. That was when he was kind of like in his prime, if you will. He had that receiving core, man. Them jokers, it was always tough to deal with. Trying to think who else comes to mind. Some great quarterbacks. It's good. I watch Randall Cunningham get it, do his thing. Steve Young. I think Steve was still playing when I because we played a playoff game. We went out there my first year in San Fran.
I'm sure that was cool for you as a football fan. You're like, man, Steve Young's on the other sideline. Hell yeah.
Troy Aikman.
Okay.
Too. Yeah. Jim Kelly. Some really good some boys, man. I played alongside seeing some really great quarterbacks, some great QB play. Yep.
There you go, Troy Aikman, big Mahomes fan.
Yes, sir. And of course, man, is Trent Green, man, it's my guy. So,
and I think I've seen Noah John Marshall mention this guy a few times in the chat. Brody Croyle, how impressive was his ball at practice? Because like the way they made it sound like from his college teammates and during training camp that year, there was a Hard Knocks. Everyone always talked about how impressive his ball was. Was it as impressive as people talked about it?
It was a nice ball. It was easy to catch. He had some good pepper on it, but didn't overdo it. And accurate. So, Brody was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I love Brody.
Remember Damon said you could throw that ball through a car wash. He was talking about Brody throwing the ball.
He had a nice ball on him, man. Nice delivery and stuff. It was always his, him being hurt. So tough, man.
Yeah.
Alabama QBs.
I know. I thought he was gonna be the guy too, man. Like I said that day, I wore my Brody Croyle Chiefs jersey to getting a Len Dawson autograph, and he just said, "Who?"
Yeah. Me to my guy Brody.
Yep. But all right, guys. Well, that's great questions by you guys in the chat. Lovely to hear from you all.
Appreciate you. Yeah. So 09 career record. Yeah, Noah John Marshall, but he wasn't 09 by himself. He had some help. He had some help, man.
He did.
Yeah. But now, man, I appreciate it, man. Marcus, thank you so much. Listen, if you all just getting on the show, I seen a few of you getting on the show. Welcome. Good to see you all coming on here. We're finishing up. We will come back on Wednesday on the show to talk about some more stuff. Hey, look. At the very beginning of the segment of the show, so we will talk about the victims down there in Texas. So please, if you can, do what you can to give them just their love, support, however you may do it. People's into energy. We pray and send some money, whatever you need to do. We just want to thank you for it. But let's shoulder those burdens of the people that's going through it. Give them the support that they need. Okay, love people the way we're supposed to love them. That's the most important things, and that's everybody. That includes everybody, Marcus. That's what we need to do. So, too much division and silliness out here, man. It really is. So, we need to do a much better job. We want to be a light to this world. Okay, a light to it. None of us are different from each other. Okay, so we got to get there. We got to get there, man. All right. So, all right, my brother. Love you. Say bye to everybody in the chat. Noah John Marshall, my guy over there in Valley. One day, man, I'm gonna get over there, man. I'm gonna call you up and say, "Yo, I am in town." Okay, Noah John. I'm gonna tell you, Stanley Mooney. Good to see you, my brother. Hearts and roses. Hearts and roses. Said something out there on Twitter. I appreciate it. All right. Love back to you. Love back to you, Hearts and Roses. Adam Six, my guy. Appreciate you coming in, saying what's up to us. Thank you for showing up. G Pick, my guy. Pepe Atreides. Good to see you, Pepe. Always. Cordell Robinson. Good to see you, Cordell. I ain't seen you in a while. At least you haven't been saying nothing. But I'm glad you said something right there. Troy Aikman, definitely. Yeah. Incredible guy. Justin Blackwell. Good to see you. Andre Chenault. Good to see you as well. Gary Holland, my guy. Good to see you, Lauren Zinkser. Thank you, Laura. G Pick, if I didn't say it, I'll say it again. Stu, my guy. Randall Cunningham put his Eagle sideline jacket on backwards. Didn't go very well with the fans. I was at that game. It's all right. Hey, if anybody could put it on backwards, Randall could. That's for daggone sure. So, Stu, I'll talk to you, my brother. Love you, man. DeMonte Green Beans. Good to see you, my brother, like always. Greg Rose. What's up, Greg Rose? Good to see you, brother. Nana Sherry's here. Appreciate it. How many QBs you play with, JD? Ooh, that's a great question. Let me see real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I had 9 total. I think, that started and played to actually throw balls to me. Nana, right off the top of my head. So, good question, though. MJ, what's going down? Adam 6. Let me see who else we have on here. Linda Hunter, thank you so much. Practice? We talking about practice. That's right, Linda Hunter. Boy, they try to rip you for that one, right? The AI was right. AI would say that man and then drop about 45 on you and cross up Jordan. So, Bradley Sexton, appreciate you, my guy. Deshaun Hammond's my dude. No, not EKU. Say it ain't so, JD. Murray State. Oh, no. Deshaun, you know better, man. Them Colonels, baby. You know how we do. Shoot, them champions right there. We got to love Murray State too, man. That's for sure. Appreciate you, Deshaun. Rich Cooper, my guy. Good to see you, Rich. Like always, man. Always giving us some good input as well. Who else I see out here? I seen About Time was here. About Time, hope you're doing well, my brother. Hope the family's doing well. I know you're making that move. Teron Young, thank you so much, Teron. Throwing your 2 cents in there, brother. Always appreciate you. Greg Rose, if I didn't tell you Greg Rose, appreciate you, Greg Rose. Let me see what else we got in here. So sometimes when y'all coming in and say about I'm moving up the chart on y'all, so I might have to run back down to the bottom just to see who say what's up. I see some people come in and say hi to us. But like I said before, man, thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate your engagement. Marcus, we said we will see them on Wednesday. Y'all take care. Y'all take care of one another. Andrew Brown, good to see you as well, my brother. Hey, man, let's love each other the way we're supposed to. Witchy Hall, like always, thank you, Witchy. Doing an amazing job. Let me see who else we got. I think that's about it, brother.
Packed house on the Monday night.
It's good. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. These people like what we do. Nafis Foster. Okay, Nafis. Talked to her earlier. Man, I think that might be it, Marcus. Chanel, Adam 6. Sasha was in here. Casey Colossus. Okay. Hippie Cypriot. Yeah, Nathaniel Walker earlier. He said what's up to us, Nathan. Appreciate you, brother. All right. Sandman. What up, Sandman? See you through here. All right. Listen, hey, y'all take care. Hannah. Good to see you, Hannah. I knew I missed somebody. All right. Listen, if I missed y'all, Chiefs fan 1969. Good to see you as well. Listen, y'all know what it is. You know how much we love y'all. We will see y'all on Wednesday. Marcus, my brother, love you, man. You're glowing, baby. You're absolutely glowing. Okay. Gotta get you out there in Hollywood or something, man. You're looking there it is. Yes, sir. All right. Give my hat to you. You ladies and gents, y'all take care. Love you guys. Okay. Be good to each other. We will see you on Wednesday. All right. Take care. God bless.
See you Wednesday, everybody. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.